So my family is particularly into Christmas. Every year my mom hosts a big Christmas party, and all of the neighbors and all of the soccer team players and all of the choir members and the family members descend for a full house. But I think my family is most into celebrating Christmas with gifts, with presents. And I had the opportunity last week to travel home and visit my family for a slightly belated Christmas. I was very touched because they waited until I arrived at 10:30 p.m. on Christmas Day to open up all of the gifts. And it was an extraordinary showering. I got so many gifts, so many pairs of socks and books and games that I had to borrow an extra suitcase to come home. It was pretty funny. I arrived at the airport, and my wife was trying not to break into a full-on laugh at me, because I have my suitcase with my clothes and my toiletries and stuff in it, and then I have this other bag on top of it, because it's not a roller duffel, and I have my backpack on, and I'm kind of trying to shuffle the whole thing down the sidewalk to get it all into the car so that we can get it home. I'm so grateful for my family's extraordinary generosity in the gift-giving department. But I am equally grateful that I had yesterday off so that I could figure out where all of the stuff was going to go in my house and unpack it all. Give Marissa, my wife, her gifts from my family, and then figure out where that was going to go. And some of it is easy. The books on the bookshelf, the socks. I'm not going to have to do laundry for a long time. All of the socks stuffed into the drawers. And then one of the last things I pulled out of my suitcase was a gift from my mom. And it is an adhesive, spring-loaded, dashboard bobblehead Jesus. When I opened up this present, I felt a certain kinship with Mary from today's reading. Mary has this small child, somewhere between infant and under 2 years old. She's caring for him in Bethlehem. And these wise men come and offer gifts. They offer gold, they offer frankincense, they offer myrrh. Now, the gold is a lovely gift. Who doesn't want to receive gold? The frankincense is a gift that signifies Jesus' future connection to spirituality, to the priestly order. It's what's burned at the temple. And then she's given myrrh, which is the primary ingredient for an embalming salve. It's what you anoint the dead with. So here are the wise men showering her with gifts, and then the myrrh comes along, and she's like, "Oh, ointment for the dead. Like, thank you, that's so nice. Where do I put this?" There's a pretty cheeky midrash that I really appreciate. Mostly I see it on mugs or tea towels. And it said, after the 3 wise men left, the 3 wise women came, and they brought diapers and casserole and formula. That would be my grandmother. She has 13 children and grandchildren, and every year she goes and purchases each of our favorite shampoo and body wash. Now, they're all different, but she goes out and gets the one that each of us like best, so that we have the opportunity to take care of ourselves. And she doesn't just buy a little bottle of it. She buys like the gallon bottle of it so that we will be clean all year round. That's her particular brand of gift giving, of showing love. She's giving us the tools for us to love our bodies well. And then there's the bobblehead Jesus over here. Now, I imagine Mary is a little stymied about what to do with the myrrh. The gold and the frankincense makes some sense because they'll allow her to support her family, and they'll be particularly timely as her family is about to become refugees, about to need to flee the country. That cash is going to help them survive. But the gift of myrrh has a spiritual significance. It has the foreshadowing, showing us what might become of Jesus, what might he be required to give. How many of you know or have heard about the 5 love languages? Okay, a few of you. The idea is that each of us show and receive love in different ways, and they can be divided up basically into 5 categories. You have some people who really appreciate words of affirmation, really appreciate hearing, oh my gosh, I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you did this thing. There are some people who really just want to spend time with you, who appreciate getting together for a coffee date or going for a long car ride to nowhere together. It doesn't matter where you're going as long as you're together. There's some people who really appreciate acts of service. Let me do something for you to show you my love. And there are some people who like to give you stuff. And that stuff is a way of saying, I love you. That stuff is a way of saying, I see what it is that you need, or what I think you might need or want, and I'm gonna do my best to fulfill that desire that you have with stuff. So when we are giving gifts, it's usually out of this place of desiring to show love for someone. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, yeah, but what about cousin so-and-so who I have to get something for because he got me something last year, but I don't really want to? That sense of obligation that gift giving creates is, I think, actually really special, because it invites us into connection, into relationship with one another. It's the opportunity to think about someone else, to think about what might they enjoy, what might they like, what might they need, and to give it. What I'm thinking about with this is a little bit of reframe from when somebody gives me something, that means I have to give them something back, to when somebody gives me something, I get to give them something back. I get to enter into this relationship of mutuality. It's, in a way, I think, an antidote to some of the separation, some of the loneliness that many of us feel. This opportunity to shift from I have to give to I get to give is an opportunity to come further into relationship, into community. We see it exemplified in many of our great stories. For those of you who are Harry Potter fans out there, it's Harry's decision to go and defeat Voldemort, not because he must, because there's some prophecy that says so, but because he's driven to protect those he loves. It's the difference between saying Jesus went to the cross because it was preordained, and saying Jesus went to the cross because he was so committed to teaching and preaching love and peace, the Word of God, that he was committed to doing that even though it meant he would be arrested and perhaps crucified. That is Jesus' gift, his willingness to teach and preach that love, even though it meant that he might have to give his life. I'm not asking you all to give your literal lives, especially not to cousin so-and-so who you're not sure you really want to give something to anyway. But think about what might you give that would feed that person, either materially, a big bottle of shampoo, or spiritually. So the bobblehead that I got for Christmas from my mom made it into my suitcase because my mom is not a Christian. She did not grow up religious, and her sense of Christianity growing up had a lot more to do with excluding and judging than loving. And so when I told her that I was going to seminary, we had a big woo about it. So when she gives me a dashboard Jesus bobblehead, it is her way of saying, I see you. Your path is different from mine. You believe something different than I believe. And I love you anyway, just as you are. So I'm going to have to find a place for plastic Jesus bobblehead in my house. And think about what I might give my mom next year to return the favor. In a few moments, we are going to share communion together, which is Jesus' ongoing gift to us. It's that tangible reminder of our connection to Christ and to one another. When you come up to receive that gift, you are entering into a relationship of mutuality with Jesus. And as you go out today, I'm going to invite you to think about what gift you might give Jesus in return. Thanks be to God.